Well, how's everybody doing today?
All right.
Hot.
Good. First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Sound like a broken record? Gonna be a broken record every time. I'm gonna say that every time because here it is again. The reason why we are here, the reason why this flag flies, the reason why we are free, the reason why we are blessed is because we put him first. We besought his wisdom. We didn't dig up some self-help book or look towards some self-help guru. The men who founded this nation sought the wisdom of Almighty God to craft our Constitution and to affirm the rights that our God, our Creator, has given us. They sought his wisdom first, and that is the reason why we live in this blessed and prosperous land, so we give him thanks first and foremost. So now, why am I here today? I'm not here because I'm running for lieutenant governor. I'm not here because I'm Mark Robinson and I gave a speech that went viral over there in that room over there, right there in that room. I'm here today because today is July 4th. In 1776, there were a group of men who sat down and came up with the wild notion that the 13 colonies should become a free nation. And on July 4th, they declared their independence from Great Britain. And they knew by doing that they were risking their lives. Let me say that again. They weren't risking their jobs or their careers. They were risking their lives. For if the revolution had failed, those men would have been hauled back to England and beheaded by the king for treason. They were risking their lives. That is important in this day and age. Why is it important? Because here it is, 2020. And today, again, we need to reaffirm our independence on this day. Only this time it's not Great Britain that we need to reaffirm our independence to. We need to first off reaffirm our independence to the man who sits in Raleigh, the governor of Raleigh, who's supposed to represent the people of North Carolina, but as it turns out only represents himself and his own interest and his own political interests. We need to tell him that the spirit of our ancestors from 1776 is at our backs, and that we will not take him as a king, just like we would not take King George as a king.
That's right.
That our freedom was written not just on paper, but in stone in 1776, because our freedom comes from the Almighty. And not Roy Cooper or any other man on this earth can take it.
That's right.
So we need to, again, on this day, declare our independence and make it clear to him that we are a free people. That we do not need him as a king. We need him to be a servant to the people of this state.
That's right.
Who else do we need to declare our independence to? We need to declare our independence to the people who came down here to this downtown and tried to destroy this city because they want to see socialism reign. Let me tell you something about socialism. You see, anybody who's picked up any book throughout the 20th century about a little subject called history can tell you what socialism will bring. Ask the folks who lived through the revolution in Russia and who lived under Joseph Stalin, the ones who survived the mass murders. Ask them about communism and socialism. Ask the folks that lived under National Socialism under Adolf Hitler. Ask the folks who lived under communism under Mao, and communism under the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, and communism under Cuba, under Castro. Ask those folks who are now suffering in Venezuela that used to be a garden spot on this side of the globe, but now is a socialist hellhole because they chose to embrace tyranny through socialism. Ask them about socialism. And then ask yourself this question: why would the garden spot of the world, the United States of America, the literal garden spot of the world, the last bastion of freedom on earth, why would we ever embrace socialism? Here it is: we will not. And I make that statement plain to every Antifa soy boy wannabe out there.
That's right. Listen.
You see, I've got a theory about those folks. Those folks are the generation that grew up with time out instead of time up. They didn't learn their lessons in daycare in first grade and second grade and junior high and high school. But I can tell you what, if you stand up against the American patriot and think that you're going to take their freedom, you will learn your lessons for sure. All the things that we have been through in this nation, our revolution, Bunker Hill, Yorktown, the things that we went through during our Civil War, Gettysburg and Fredericksburg, all the things that we went through during World War I, the Argonne Forest, all the things that we went through during World War II, Pearl Harbor, Iwo Jima, the Battle of the Bulge, Korea at Pork Chop Hill, Vietnam at Khe Sanh. We didn't go through those things so we could lay down our freedom at the feet of people who have done nothing for this country.
That's right.
And I can assure you the same ferocity that we fought the Nazis with, the same ferocity that we fought the Vietnamese and the communist Vietnamese in Vietnam and in Korea, and the same ferocity that we fight these terrorists around the globe, we will fight domestic terrorism here on our shores.
That's right. Bring it.
Because today is July 4th, and again today we reaffirm our independence. You see, independence doesn't come from a piece of paper. It doesn't come by somebody telling you that you're free. True independence, and this is the greatest thing that I found is new. True independence comes when you know that your Father in heaven came down through 42 generations and gave himself as a sacrifice on the cross to free your soul. And as Americans, we know that anybody who is free in Christ is free indeed. And that is the reason why we fly that flag proudly. Not because we are just that good, but because he was that good to us. Now, somebody got a little angry at me one time because I said if these folks show up at my house, that I wouldn't be very nice to them. Well, I think it's high time we start saying that. Because look here. We had domestic terrorists not too long ago, just a few weeks ago, declare that they were going to come into your neighborhoods, come to your house, and take what they wanted. And scarcely a politician, scarcely elected official, opened their mouths to say anything about it. In fact, some of them told the police officers to stand down. Now, I'm sure that was a big disappointment to our good young men and women in law enforcement. But let me tell you this, those folks would be better off dealing with the police department. Because see those guys up there on the rafters up there, they got a lot more patience than I do. When it comes to my freedom, my security, and the freedom and security of my family, and future generations of this nation, I am not playing a game. This is not a video game. You don't get a do-over. This is serious business, folks. And anybody who knows has got a scrap of sense that witnessed what went on right here in this downtown. You can see it. You see, once upon a time, the enemy was outside the wire. They were over in Russia and Cuba, places like that. Today, they are right here on our shores. Some of them might live right next door to you. People who want to destroy our way of life, take away our freedoms, destroy our Constitution, and trample it underfoot for all time. Here it is. The solution is political. And we can handle it politically. And we intend to handle it politically. But don't think I'm intimidated, not one little bit. I'm not intimidated at all, because here it is. Just like those men that signed that Declaration of Independence, I am ready to give all for this nation. And that's where we all need to be. You see, once upon a time, somebody signed on the dotted line to go and fight, to give their lives for us. Standing right here looking at a fellow right here named Alan Marshall right here. Served in the military. When he went and signed his name on the dotted line, Alan Marshall was ready to give his life for you and me.
And still is.
And that's exactly right. As serious as he took his commitment to this nation, that's how serious we all need to take our commitment to this nation, because here it is. We are not fighting for ourselves. Just like those men weren't fighting for themselves. They were fighting for a nation that had not been born yet.